Okay, so the new school year is just about to get started again, and it's got me thinking about when I was a brand new teacher. And so this video is not actually for new teachers, it's for the people who've been here a while and know what it's like to be brand new to this very difficult, challenging work. I remember the first time I ever walked into my very own classroom. This is after student teaching. This is after all of my college education and, preparing to become a teacher. But that first time I walked into the room, the first thing that happened is a kid walked up to me and said, "Hey, are you a student?" And then I know that he knew I wasn't a student. He knew I was the teacher because I was dressed nice and he wasn't. But he was trying to get underneath my skin. He was trying to point out that I looked young. And believe me, I looked very young as a new teacher. And that disarmed me right away. And then I had to walk up in front and I had to introduce myself and I had to deal with all the pressures of having my own room and the pressures of making sure that these 30 kids in front of me are going to be okay underneath my care, that I was going to handle their safety and their learning, and that I was going to be able to work with their parents and work with other teachers. And it was hard work. It was difficult to be a new teacher. But then I had this one teacher that I worked with down the hall. His name was Mike. And Mike Cackley had been doing this a while. I mean, Mike's pretty old. Mike, if you're watching this, you're not that old. But Mike was this guy who just took me in right away. And he didn't see me as a new teacher. He saw me as a fellow teacher who had a lot to learn. And so, he would come by and check and see how I was doing. He would invite me into his room after school and we would just talk, and he'd share about how he does some things and I would share about how I was planning to do some things, and we would just kind of work these things out. It wasn't always a formal meeting, but it was a place that I always knew that I could go if I needed it. And believe me, in my first year of teaching, and most new teachers' first years, they needed it. They needed this mentor. They needed this person that they could rely on and lean on and bounce ideas off of and complain to, and all of these things that are just necessary in the very beginning. And because of Mike, I felt so much more confident as a new teacher. I felt better about the decisions I was making. I felt more confident in how I led a classroom and how I prepared and all this stuff, because I had somebody that was helping me along the way. I didn't have to do it alone. But I've talked to a lot of new teachers, especially through this Epic Classroom page and in my experiences of going around and working with teachers. I've talked to a lot of new teachers who do this work very alone. Who are having to just exist on this island in their classroom and don't have this, more older Mike Cackley type of characters, these people to lean on and do life with, experience this journey with. And it's really hard for them. It's harder than it was for me because I was blessed to have somebody who poured into me. A lot of people don't. And I think this is why, I don't want to make up the stat, but you can go look it up. I think it's over 50% of new teachers quit after their third year. Maybe it's their fifth year, but it's just this alarming number of people don't make it very long in the teaching profession. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that they don't have a mentor. They don't have somebody to help them throughout this. I know, in the state I live in, that there's this requirement, a mandate, that every new teacher is paired up with a mentor. But it's basically just this requirement, and then people can just sign off on it, and it's easy to get away with not actually having a mentor who's really there for you. And so it's easy to get around systems like that. But where I had somebody who's intentional about reaching out to me. As I was brand new to this work, I had somebody who was coming into my room, offering their expertise, offering their wisdom, offering their ears to me. And believe me, I was willing to give it all back to them. And it made me a better teacher. I'm a better teacher now, years later, because of the mentors, the veterans who invested in me in the very beginning. So if you are a teacher who's been here a while, just even a few years, and you know what it's like, and you've got some wisdom, you've got these ideas, you've got some experience under your belt, I implore you to please give some of that wisdom away. Look for those new teachers in your school this year, the ones who might have looked like me and looked really, really young, or the ones who might not be super young, but really inexperienced and could use your investment. Find them, offer your help, invite them over to dinner at your house, buy them a beer after work, let them complain to you, and and just watch how it's going to help them. Watch it how it helps them grow. Watch it how it helps them build confidence, and honestly, watch how it keeps them in the classroom becoming a better and better teacher. So new teachers, hang in there. It does get easier. And veteran teachers, thank you for the work that you've already done and now can do to pour into young teachers like the one that I was when I really, really needed it. And Mike Cackley, I promise you're not that old. Kind of is.